You don't need others' approval, you just need yourself. It's a message that's taken me a long time to learn, and that I don't still fully embody. It's a message that I try to embody more and more every day, but it's powerful and it's potent. And we all know deep down that there's something there. There's something there within us that wants our own approval, that wants our own inner light, our own self-acceptance, our own love, our own knowing that we are in fact enough just as we are. I'm very grateful that you're here today. I'm very grateful for this moment in time with you. This felt like the right time to have a conversation. Soul to soul, heart to heart. Inner knowing, inner depth to inner depth. I'm on a path of awakening. I'm on a path of deepening into my inner knowing and inner truth. But I do want to talk about this, which isn't so much an idea or a concept. It's a profound truth. The truth that you don't need others' approval. You just need yourself. And I'm not speaking about becoming a loner and isolating yourself from society. I'm speaking about the egoic mind state that's deeply chasing the approval of people outside itself. And often this comes from early childhood wounding in our families, the wounding of never having that approval as a child, or very seldomly having that approval. The wounding of feeling you're not enough, or that you're too much. The wounding of not knowing who you truly are, not feeling who you truly are, and feeling like the only way that you can feel enough or whole is by chasing outside external validation from family, from siblings, from friends, from grandparents, from colleagues, from co-workers and bosses. It often acts the worst sometimes with authority figures, those who we've often given our power away to in society. And I know what you might be thinking. Well, we live in a capitalist society that really dictates and creates circumstances where, in a way, we have to give away our power in exchange for money. And it's important that we are liked, especially by people who have authority, who we think have authority over us. And on a relative level, there's truth to that. I have to agree to some degree with that. But on another level, it also creates a lot of pain for us. This chasing, this constant seeking of validation, of chasing the feeling of being liked, being likable enough, staying in everyone's good graces in a compulsive way. It's utterly exhausting. and it depletes our vital resources, and it takes away and steals time and attention from the possibility of giving that unconditional love and support and ultimately approval. I prefer the term love, support, care, attention to ourselves first and foremost. Because if we're not able to bring a certain quality of attention and unconditional love, caring support to ourselves, and really bask in that inner glow and know our wholeness from a depth beyond anything that we can measure externally, then we're not able to truly be present with others in our lives. We're not able to truly be authentic with our bosses, our colleagues, our coworkers, our family members, our friends. We're merely chasing their validation. We're merely begging, asking them to perpetually say we're enough in not so many words. So we think that we can feel, and the operative word is think, that we can feel whole enough, that we can finally rest or settle. But we find, after chasing and chasing and chasing for so many years and decades, in a lot of cases, that it's hollow and it leaves us emptier than ever, with a lot of pain and a lot of disappointment, because people can feel our inauthenticity. People can feel that we're merely seeking something from them on the surface, and that we're willing to undermine our own value, our own deeper values that we may be very out of touch with, and sometimes our own self-worth, just for these fleeting moments of temporary acceptance, which usually takes the form of some kind of contract. I know this can become especially apparent, especially painful, and especially stark when a person whose acceptance, approval, so-called love, validation we happen to be chasing has a very selfish, manipulative, in other words, rather narcissistic personality. It creates a lot of pain and suffering for those of us who have tended towards being a bit more codependent and chasing something outside of us, because we've had early woundings, often from narcissistic family members, whether you consider them to be narcissistic or not, manipulative family members, selfish family members. And this doesn't necessarily make them really bad people or bad people. This is coming very much from their own wounding, that personality trait. It's unhealed shadow that comes very much from their own inability to love themselves and see themselves and be honest with themselves, and to heal that inner child within. They know no other way to go about life, and in their eyes and their mind and their perceived reality, gain survival for themselves. Manipulation has become their go-to tactic, their go-to strategy. For controlling their lives, for getting others to do somewhat, to some degree, what they want, and other times not so much. But it's their chief survival strategy. And a lot of them believe that by manipulation, coercion, being very unkind, putting others in a space to chase their approval and validation, by projecting that energy out into the field, which attracts people who have those woundings, who are often codependent on that receiving end of a lot of harm in their early life, whether it was verbal, physical, sexual. There was always some element, strong element usually, of emotional harm that sometimes also becomes physical harm as well. And because codependents didn't receive that loving validation, really that unconditional love, which is much deeper than external validation, because validation can truly only be external, and it's ultimately rather inauthentic. It doesn't give us that lasting feeling of wholeness, love, completeness within ourselves. Only unconditional love can do that. And because a lot of us didn't receive that when we were children and in our teens, there's a wound there, an unhealed wound that's very painful and often compulsively drives us to seek validation outside of ourselves from those who do not have the capacity to give us what we're seeking. In truth, only you, only me, only we ourselves have the capacity, have the ability to love ourselves unconditionally, to take care of ourselves. And that comes from trusting in your own self-worth, your own goodness, healing your shadow by loving that inner child and discovering what your true values are, and living in integrity with your highest values. It's not in getting other people or trying to get other people to validate you, love you. It's not in trying to get other people to change. And it's also not in trying to ever fix another person. You don't have that kind of power. The only person that you have the power to heal, quote unquote fix, if you want to put it that way. I don't love the term fix, but I prefer to come home to, maybe even sounds better than healing, is yourself. So this is what this channel is about. It's about coming home to yourself before the world got a hold of you. You are so beautiful. You are so radiant and filled with light. Your capacity for unconditional love within yourself is endless. And once you feel truly whole and met within yourself, by virtue of doing the inner work and coming home to yourself and choosing yourself first and releasing that compulsion, that compulsive perceived, being the operative word, perceived need to always be seeking quote unquote love, approval, validation, acceptance, likability from those outside of yourself, you will attract In fact, you will become a magnet for all the things you've ever truly wanted, but felt were so far out of reach and believed you could never have. Because maybe, perhaps just maybe, some of you believed there was something broken about you or missing, or just too much damage was done. But all of that, all of those ideas are nothing more than thought forms that you've put your power into, that you've placed your belief into. That does not make them true. Our beliefs and our thoughts are not true. What's true is your inner light, your whole and complete radiant beauty, your greater potential to both discover what your values truly are, what you hold in the highest, what you respect, truly, and then to own those values and begin to live them more and more consistently. And becoming the light you want to see in the world, becoming the positive change that you, that beautiful you, before the world got a hold of you and made you believe that you were something and someone that you really aren't. That's the illusion. That's the matrix. That's the game of this society. It gains power by ideologically getting all of us, manipulating all of us into believing that we are powerless, that we are not infinite love, that we don't have the capacity to unconditionally love ourselves and know ourselves and align with our greatest values and truth. It's highly profitable, and it makes it easy to control people when people are very disconnected from themselves, from their true heart space, from their souls, and their knowledge of who they were before the world, of course, got a hold of them. So I hope you'll join me in future videos to have these types of discussions. This is just the first of many, and I do hope this channel will grow in time. But also, it's okay either way, even if it doesn't. That's part of the blessing of unconditional acceptance and love and here-ness and wholeness, is to be okay either way, knowing that something greater is guiding us and has our backs, and trusting in that more and more. Something greater beyond our minds, beyond who we have believed or thought ourselves to be. Please spend a little bit of time connecting with yourself in a way that refreshes you and allows you to feel into your heart space, whether that be taking a walk in nature, doing a 10 to 20, 30-minute meditation of your choice, petting one of your fur babies, spending time with a very kindred spirit who you really authentically love and trust, and who truly authentically loves and trusts you back. Perhaps that might be journaling, or breath work. You know what's right for you. The deeper you knows what's right for you. So ask that greater part of you, what would most serve me in this moment, right here, right now, and helping me connect with my authentic, true self. What does he or she or they, however you identify, what does she, he, they want? Wishing you all a beautiful, beautiful week. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.